Going on, traders? Happy Friday. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into today's video. But as usual, I'm going to go ahead and break down my trades for you guys. So let's jump right into today's recap. And as you guys can see from the top left, I was trading on a simulation account today, right? And I have in the past 3 days. But starting next week, I will be switching back to my main account. And so in terms of how I actually did on the day, as you guys can see, right, I did hit my 1% daily goal. I was able to make $103.60 on TQQQ. Right, and I didn't even trade SQQQ at all today. And in terms of my orders, you guys can see I actually took a lot less trades today than I normally did all week. Right, I had a total of 22 filled orders, started trading at 6:33 and didn't stop till 6:50. So it took about 20 minutes, right, a little less to hit my daily goal, and that's why I decided to walk away for the day. But in terms of, what led to me deciding to get into TQQQ, well, the Nasdaq, as we can see, right, on the 1-day 1-minute chart, it was selling off all pre-market, right, just continuously making these lower lows, lower highs, and it was just, constantly getting rejected by the blue EMA line, right? And so ultimately it sold off, found a nice support right around the 11,390 area, right, and then it broke back above the EMA and changed directions. And so heading into market open, right, you see these increase in volume bars. That's where the market actually started to explode up. And so we saw these nice pushes up, and I would be getting into TQQQ, and as it would pull on back, right, I would do my job of managing risk today. But what I thought I did a really good job of today was I wasn't just selling in and out the way I was more impulsively doing it earlier this week, but instead what I tried to focus on was making sure I was on the right side of the trend and the direction. And as long as direction was still in my favor, I held even if it did start going south, right? And so as the market opened, this thing pushed up, pulled on back. Once I saw this thing start to break above the EMA and validate it as a support, right, I bought back in. And ultimately, right, I bought back in, but a mistake I made constantly today was I didn't lock in profits around a potential resistance area, right? Where would a potential resistance area have been around these areas? The middle VWAP would definitely act, potentially as a resistance. Doesn't mean it has to, but as we can see, anytime it approached it, right, it would end up pulling on back. So there were a few moments where I was actually up a decent amount, up almost 1% on the day, but I would continue to hold all of the shares thinking it would break above, only for this thing to pull on back, get rejected, right? And then me having to worry and then wait for this thing to reverse back on. And so that's definitely a lesson I could have learned. I could reduce majority of my shares right at an area that makes sense where there could be a potential resistance, and if it were to pull on back, I can just buy back the shares I just sold, right? So that would be the beauty about being more of an effective trader when it comes down to sizing down when it makes sense, right? Because if you're able to do that, right, size down when the trade went your way, and then as it pulls on back, you can buy back in, and just continuously do that on days where direction is really in your favor, the way it was all market open for the first hour. And so if I zoom on back, what you guys will notice is this thing actually, once market open completely just started a rip on the day, did have a nice decent pullback, but ultimately continue to form these higher highs and higher lows. And so that was really nice to see, right? If we can take a look at the past 5 days, what the Nasdaq's been doing, it's been continuously forming these higher highs and higher lows, right? It'll find a nice support around the bottom VWAP and then continuously push up, right? So we have been seeing that the past week, and so today it ultimately was able to validate that same, pattern. But in terms of where we're at, right, we definitely are very overextended when it comes down to, these areas. Anytime we've approached these general areas, we have been met with, some nice resistance levels. So let's definitely try to keep an eye out for that. Nothing has to play out, right? We just need to see that that EMA is still being validated on the longer time frame, which it is, right? So definitely nothing, it's not looking too bad, but at the same time, right, we are pretty overextended. So we are due for a bit of a pullback. Doesn't mean it has to happen though, right? I just do want to prepare you guys for that in case it were to happen. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. I hope you guys all were able to take away, something from this, and learn from the mistake I made here, where it makes sense that if the trade's going your way and you're still in heavy, to size down just in case it pulls on back, right? Because worst case, it pulls on back, you could buy back in more shares if you still see value in the trend, and you can just make more money that way. But yep, that's pretty much everything I wanted to discuss today. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into today's video. If you guys have any questions at all, want me to break down any stock or stock indicator, go ahead and drop a comment and I will be more than happy to do that for you guys. But other than that, I hope you guys all enjoy your weekend, and we will be posting a video on Monday, so we will see you guys then. Take care.